All right, everybody, welcome back. We are going to explore some of the other features of the AudioServer. We're going to revisit this network page here just for a minute. This is handy just to confirm and see what your hotspot settings are. Some of this information is really useful for some clients that don't figure out automatically what's going on. Fortunately for most of us, phones and tablets are already set up to auto detect most of these settings. But anyway, the AudioServer can also be plugged into an Ethernet interface, and there are advantages to that. In particular, there is a API that third-party programmers can use to communicate with AudioServer and manage playback. So having an Ethernet connection would be one reason to do that. Another reason is if your Ethernet is attached to the internet, you can also query for updates to the system. Again, most people aren't going to need to upgrade the software on this ever, but if there is an issue that we discover at some point along the road, we can push down a fix that way. And then we already covered in pretty good detail the hotspot configuration here. So let's move on to the status page. The status page shows some information about our system, just some sanity check type of things. Again, mostly this is for me. If you ever have a problem, this will help me figure out what exactly is going on. Same thing here with the output volume status. There's some interesting things we have to do to guarantee that all the channels stay at a loud output level. So this is just making sure that all of those stay where we need them to be. Check for updates. I will not run at the moment because it won't work since we're not attached to the internet. However, there's a couple other things that are interesting. Essentially, if you click this button, it will go out to the HauntLabs website and look for an update for the software. And if it finds one, it will show you a button and give you the option to install it right here through this web interface. It's pretty slick and easy to do, so there's no, you don't even have to worry about downloading a file and uploading it to the AudioServer or anything like that. It just handles everything for you as long as it is connected to the internet. There's some advanced system information here, again, mostly for my debug purposes. If you ever call or email with questions, I'm probably going to want to see what these two buttons do. System controls, reboots AudioServer, I already showed you that one earlier. Shutting down the AudioServer here, and synchronizing the date and time. This one can be important when checking for an update because of our SSL connection to the server. So if the update ever doesn't synchronize or check properly, synchronize the date and time and then try that again. And then finally, we can do a backup on here, which is pretty slick. That way you can run a backup of your configuration, download it to a laptop or something else, and then if you ever needed to clone this device or restore it to a specific point in time, you can upload your backup file right here and make it be. So that is pretty much it as far as backups go. I'll go ahead and run this backup just so you guys can see what it looks like. This is going to take a little while because we have quite a bit of data here. So I'll just fast forward the video until it's done. All right, as you can see, we have created a backup. And it now shows up in this list here. At this point in time, you'd probably want to download it to your local computer, or at least some sort of remote backup. Clicking this button will apply that backup, and clicking this button will delete it. So that's about all there is to it. And then here's where you upload your backup. You choose your file, and it'll show up in this list. So even if this is a backup from a different machine or different audio server, it can be applied to any of them. So that's all that I have for you. So I guess until next time. All right, there's one last thing I want to go over with you guys, and that is these little meters here. They are pretty self-explanatory, but I did not talk about them in any of the other videos, so yeah. CPU usage is how much usage the processor is experiencing roughly at this moment. The more work that it's doing, the higher the CPU usage is going to be. I've never seen it much above 30 or 40%. If you're using something like WAV files instead of compressed media files like MP3s, you're going to see a higher CPU usage because it has to do more reading off of the file system. So if you're going to use anything, I recommend compressed audio. Memory usage is kind of the same way. The machine's a little weird in how it manages memory, so sometimes you might see this thing pick up pretty high, and the status page will actually start complaining about it as well. Most of the time, that's not really an issue. It's just the way the memory management works on the system. But if it makes you uncomfortable or if you're experiencing something weird, a simple reboot will take care of it. And again, disk usage is pretty self-explanatory. It is simply the amount of the disk that you've used. And that includes all of the operating system, the web interface, and your media files. So that's all there. If you need help, there is this menu here to take you to appropriate places, and this may actually have been how you found these videos. So hopefully that gives you everything you guys need to successfully run these things, and of course, let me know. I'd love to hear about how you're using the AudioServer, and feature requests for future versions, or if you happen to stumble upon a bug, I would love to know about that too. So that's it. Have a great one, and we will see you soon.